Hey guys, it's Kells back at it again with another video, another live. Today we have a collab video with our girl, Love Fleurette. Okay, this is StreamYard, so this is the first time I'm using this platform. So I'm hoping that everything is going well. Let me see if I can bring the doll in, bring in Miss Love Fleurette. Let me see, can I bring her in? Add to stream. Oh my gosh, yes! I feel like it's working. Hold on, let me see. Can we see? I don't know if we can see. Can the folks see us on YouTube?
Wait, I can try and put my YouTube on and see. I'm gonna mute
Yes, girl. Yes. It's on. It's on. I don't know how the audio is gonna go, but hopefully it goes good. Wow.
I saw you fixing your hair and everything. I was right here just watching you fix your hair.
Oh, I think that was in the back. Wasn't that in the back room? I don't think that was. I hope that wasn't on the. No, I pressed go live, so it was. I don't think it was on the actual live though. Oh my gosh, it's working! I'm so excited. Okay, so guys, you guys know Love Fleurette. We've done collab videos with Love Fleurette before in the past on the channel. The most popular videos are always with you, girl. So we was like, let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let's do a birthday party since both of us are Pisces babies. So are we ready to do? Can we do? Look, do you see the decor? Do you see how we're celebrating birthdays? How we're making it happen? Are you seeing? We had to get the decor together for our birthday.
A little champagne as well. We popping some champagne.
Cheers! Cheers! Clink, 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 clink.
I didn't even open mine yet. I was waiting for you to come on so then I'd open it.
Girl, I already just popped the bottle and poured it because I was like, I don't know how this is going to turn out if I don't do this right now. So let me just go ahead and make it happen before. I'm looking at the feed over here on my laptop if you're wondering what I'm looking at over here. Oh my gosh, happy birthday, girly. I love the hair. I love the top. What's good? How was your birthday? Tell us about it.
Do you know what? I really had a great birthday. I didn't even plan to do anything major, but like so I was supposed to go to like a concert in Paris with my cousin, and then it got moved, so I had to stay for a week in Paris, which turned out to be really, really good. Yeah. So I went to like a few fashion exhibitions because it was during Paris Fashion Week, and you know.
Wait a minute. So did you capture content for your blog? Tell us about your blog. Food, love, fashion. Tell the people about your blog, because I know you probably got some. Cheers!
Cheers!
Yes. Pour it up. Pour it up.
I hope my mom doesn't watch this. She doesn't like it when I drink.
Oh my God, champagne! Is champagne?
Hi, Mom. She's gonna watch this.
Mom, is champagne even really drinking? Cheers! Clink, clink, clink. Champagne is really not even drinking, Mom. Come on.
It's like water with a flavor.
Mm-hmm. Mine is pretty much juice.
I did manage to get like a little bit of food footage for my blog, fashionfoodandcocktails.com, which is something that I do because I'm just passionate about fashion and whatnot. But it's just difficult to get a lot of content on there. But it wasn't that easy because, you know, like fashion tends to be a very sort of elitism sort of industry, especially French fashion houses. They tend to be very much like, you have to be in the know, you have to be part of the clique. It's not very open to everybody else, especially it's not that open.
I feel you.
Yeah, but it was nice seeing some other Black bloggers there though, you know, like HighLowLuxxe and KarenBritChic. I was like, you better get it.
Yes, those were the girls that I was watching, you know what I mean? So I was watching KarenBritChic, HighLowLuxxe, Patricia Bright was there, the Yusufs were there, the Toronto Shea, who's I think the head of their agency, was there. So they were living their very best life, doing their fashion,
fabulous,
crashing. Now, some of them were very transparent in what they were really doing, because I think HighLowLuxxe was mentioning that, like, we weren't invited to the Off-White show. We're pretty much just crashing the show. And they came dressed to the nines and walked through the column of photogs and got their pictures taken, trying to get their press up. she was very
That was a
transparent about,
moment.
okay, we were not invited to this
Oh.
show, and we're just gonna show up and see if we can get our picture taken. KarenBritChic, I just watched her Fashion Paris Week vlog today, and she didn't mention that they weren't invited to certain shows and that they were just walking the streets to get the streetwear photogs to capture them. But Janae of HighLowLuxxe was. So I really appreciated that, because I think people don't understand it's a hustle. You know what I mean?
It
And it's
is.
not just you get to walk into these shows and things like that. You have to be invited. And then even if you're not invited, you still have the opportunity to go get your picture taken. So that's what the girls were doing. So I appreciated that transparency, because as you
See,
said,
I didn't know
like,
that.
yeah, Janae, if you watch Janae's HighLowLuxxe vlog, she says it. And honestly, I knew that, because from being from Miami, when there used to be Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week and all the other things, in my head, I was like, you're not always invited to everything. You could just show up and somebody could pull you in, or you could walk by and they could, you know, they like what you have on and pull you in. And I kind of had that feeling when the girls were storming going into the Off-White show, because when Rihanna was at the same show and Rihanna went a different route. And I'm like, obviously these bloggers are not on the same caliber as Rihanna, but I was like, Rihanna went in that way and they went in the front way. It just seems like they really weren't invited and they just wanted photos. And that's cool. I understand that. But Janae actually said that on her vlog, whereas some of the other ones, they didn't reveal that part of the hustle. You know what I mean? And so, yeah.
Yeah,
But
I watched that, and
to
I
see
didn't know
you
that as well. I always thought they were invited, so it was nice to actually hear that, because I've always felt like, oh, I'm never going to be invited, so what's the point of even going? But actually watching her vlog, I was like, Fleurette, next fashion week, you need to get your outfits together, and you need to be there taking them pictures and getting your face out there. And I think I'm going to do that.
100%. I don't know if you ever remember this picture. It was when Kanye and his friends and Virgil, you know, went to Fashion Week years ago, before Virgil was head of the Louis Vuitton. And there's this picture of them, and there's all these black guys, and they're dressed like really funky, you know, real fashion head guys. And they went to Paris, and it's kind of the same model. It's just go, show up, and then, you know what I mean, and see, you know, get your face known and connect with the people. Are we good with connectivity? Are you feeling like we're good? Yeah. Cool. Well, yeah, I was like, get your footage from Fashion Week from Paris, girl, if you're there. I mean, and honestly, I wanted to go to, for some reason, I felt like going to
My
Paris this year
internet
for my
is a
birthday.
little bit rubbish. Sorry.
Okay. You want to take it off Wi-Fi and put hard Wi, or how do you want to do it? In the meantime, I'll just take a sip. Oh, Fleurette. I think it might be back.
Sorry, my internet is my internet. My internet is trash.
Okay. How is it now? Are you better now?
Yeah, it's just my mobile internet is just not the best, and then like my Wi-Fi is even worse. So it's just like it's a nightmare. I just need to get better internet on my phone. Sorry, I know that's real ghetto.
That's okay. I'm seeing Nick Murray in the comments. Is that your people, them, Fleurette? Who's Nick Murray?
Well, go on, Nick.
I know, it's good, Nick. Yeah.
I don't know.
Oops.
But yeah, I know that picture you're talking about with Virgil Abloh and Kanye West. Yeah, and that was like them just going to Paris. And he said that song Ninjas in Paris was based on like them just gate crashing Paris Fashion Week. And I guess that's how you do it, you know, like if they won't let you in, you let yourself in.
100%, especially because they have a platform, right? The girls, going back to the girls, they just went there with their outfits ready, and they did have, to be fair, some shows they did go into. I didn't see them in a lot of shows. I saw them in a lot of Reese's, which is like the thing you go to after the show ends so that you can re-see the actual clothing. And then I saw them do a lot of what's that word, presentations. I saw them do a lot of presentations, but I didn't see them in a lot of shows. I think I saw KarenBritChic in one show that she actually captured footage from, but everybody else was just like dressed to the nines, getting photographers to give them press on the streets outside of the big shows. Chanel. I think I saw them with Christian Louboutin, so they went to like his presentation or his show. But really, girl, like the game is afford yourself over there with your outfits for however many days in your nice hotel, and then they did hire a photographer. So it's like have your own photographer to take your Eiffel Tower shots and things like that and get your content for your platform. But it's not like, oh, I'm not going because I'm not invited to any show. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's like just make yourself the show. You know what I mean? So
yeah, for real.
that's what I saw them
totally
doing.
agree.
Yeah. Yes. So what else? So let me tell you about my birthday. So my birthday is actually this Saturday. And why do I not have my I have my venue selected. I wanted to do a brunch thing during the day because my birthday is like the day, like I call it the first day of spring because that's what my dad always used to say. But it's like technically, depending on the year, it's like the day before the first day of spring. And I wanted to do like a brunch with like a lot of flowers and like blooming kind of thing during the day. But none of the restaurants that I really liked they're all like closed during the middle of the day. So they'll do lunch and then they'll close and then they'll open back like at 5 p.m. for dinner. So I was like, okay, let me just do something for the evening time. And then I went to a couple of different places, caught this really nice restaurant with music and things like that. So I think I'm just going to do it there. But I have not sent out an invitation. And people are like, what's I haven't sent out a text or like any kind of digital thing like, hey, are you going to go there? Are you going to be there? So we'll see how it goes. I'm not too worried about it because I do have people coming into town. And so regardless, we're gonna have fun, but I'm gonna do a dinner, and then I think the next day, the Sunday, I'm gonna do like a little housewarming thing where we're gonna like cook at home and just have folks at home and some music and just kind of chill vibe. So like the Saturday is gonna be the dinner and things like that, and then the Sunday is gonna be more homebody type thing, and then we'll see. Maybe Friday I'll get into something too, but like for now, we're just gonna do the Saturday and the Sunday, and then whenever I do the invitations, like if you can make it, come on. If you can't make it, I understand. But for some reason, I'm feeling very indecisive, and I don't know if it's because of like pandemic things and being, like not being so social, and it's hard to like get the. I'm actually like, contrary to popular belief, I'm actually quite introverted and need a lot of alone time to like get my energy up. And so I'm just feeling a little bit anxious to like put an invitation and like make a spectacle of my birthday. But I mean, I know I'm probably going to be a little bit upset if I don't do it. So I'm trying to just like put the invitation out, and who can make it, and who can't, that's fine, and like not be so anxious about it. I think I'm having like post-pandemic, social anxiety type thing happening.
Definitely.
So
That's so funny because I was gonna do a brunch for my birthday. Like I went to Paris and I was gonna come back like the day of my birthday, and then the next day I was gonna do a brunch. But then like everybody was like, "Oh my God, oh my gosh, this is happening, that is happening," and I just canceled it because it was just such a like a Debbie, like it was just such a downer for me for everybody to cancel. And I was like, I'm not even gonna take it personal. Like people have their lives and their personal stuff that they don't have to share with me. So I just sort of like I said, you know what, forget it. But my cousins were so nice that they took me out to dinner and got me a whole bunch of stuff. I even felt embarrassed. Like I felt like, oh my gosh, you're doing too much. Like I felt a bit embarrassed, but it was actually really, really nice. I had a really nice birthday. So I get what you mean with the brunch stuff, but I honestly believe in celebrating your birthday, especially after if you've survived that 19, you need to celebrate your birthday. You need to say thank you, God, for another year, because
because
some of us didn't make it all the way to 2022, to be honest with you, and it's very, very sad. And I'm so like passionate about it now. Like before, I feel like my birthday celebrations were sort of like in vain, like look at me, look how well dressed I am. But now it's like, no, I actually want to celebrate being alive. Like it's good to have made it another year in health. Like, you may not have achieved everything you wanted to achieve, but you know what, you're still healthy, you look good, you're moisturized.
Oh yeah.
So time to celebrate.
Absolutely. 100%. 100%. I think I'm still in a little bit of the fog of like, what am I going to wear? Like, how is it going to be? Like, kind of the more vain things of it. Cheers to that. Cheers to celebrating life, genuinely. Cheers, girlie. Cheers. um, that's a really good reminder for me because I'm still in a little bit of the fog of like, what am I supposed to wear? And like, how am I going to do? And like, should I do a photo shoot? Because like every year it's like, oh, do you want to do photos? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? And all this kind of like pressure around it just to like make a spectacle of it. But I mean, I'm taking to heart what you just said about like genuinely like taking a moment out of the fanfare of it to be like, thank you, God. You know what I mean? Like, because you definitely could have not been here easily. We look around kind of thing. And then the Debbie Downer thing of, I think I was going to go to Paris and that was, as well. But then a lot of people were like, you're going to Europe? You're going to Europe right now? And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go to Paris. And then it shook me that with everybody and like, everybody's saying like, oh, you go to Paris right now? I'm like, yeah. They didn't even say Paris. They just said Europe. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. I see Rubes in the comments. Yes, so 2 Pisces babies in the house. That's why we do so well. International link up. Yes, Rube. Thanks for coming through, honey. And I see some folks in the Felix. I think that's Felix in the building in the comments as well. And then we, of course, we have Nick Murray in the building as well. Appreciate you guys so much. We have a few folks watching, lurking, but you guys know the deal. Come on in, introduce yourself in the comments. Drop your flag of where you're watching from and let us know what you're sipping on. Me and Fleurette, we sitting here for our birthday, sipping on some bubbly. Cheers. What you guys doing? It's early today. I want you guys to notice that we're going live early today. Well, live on my end. It's just a little bit after 4 p.m. Eastern time, 1 p.m. West Coast California time to catch our European and our Asian and our African viewers, because every time I go on, I'm always after 7 p.m. in the evening and it's way late. So I hope you guys appreciate the effort of us coming on early to share our birthday with you guys. Yes. Love it. All right. So what are we talking about, girl? What else do we want to talk about today?
Listen, I love to be in like celebrity pop culture. I'm always like so immersed in it because I just find it so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I just find the whole like, don't hate me, but I find the whole Kanye West Kim Kardashian saga, it's just so interesting. It's like every time I go on my Instagram, I'm like, what's Kanye doing today? Then I go on his Instagram and he's doing some other nonsense, and I just start to chuckle a little bit because it's just like people are crazy nowadays. Like, majorly.
When I look at it, I'll say this. Every time I put that option, I go live every Friday night for Friday night kickbacks with Kells. Thursday nights, I always drop the 4 options. Every time I drop one of the options and I mention Kim and Kanye on it, the people don't vote for it. They don't vote for it. They do not care. And I'm like, wow, I'm surprised. Because even when Kim last week or 2 days ago said, women, y'all need to work, y'all need to work, when she was really just telling on her folks. You know what I mean? She wasn't telling on regular people. She was telling on them, in Calabasas where she lives, you know what I mean? But she wasn't talking about the folks who's in London and the folks who's in Atlanta working every day, you know what I mean? Right. And so even when she did that, I put that option in there and the people didn't vote. So they really, as much as we see Kanye and Kim on TV, I think regular people are like, kind of look at it on a side A and just move on with their life. But for me, when I look at it, I just think everybody thinks that money really solves problems, but you can be just as haunted and have mental health issues as anybody else with your $1 billion status. Can you imagine having all this money and resources and fame and access to people and access to things, and you're haunted so much so that you have to bring your personal information to the internet to get validation? to me, I'm just like, gosh, that's dangerous, right? Because if you have all of that, not only money and resources, and you still can't find a chill pill, you still can't find peace in your heart. Like, I'm scared for them. I'm scared for Kanye and I'm scared for Kim, because next thing you know, and I'm reluctant to say this, but next thing you know, it's some OJ Simpson type foolishness carrying on. And to me, I'm just like, Kanye, cool your skunk, because I don't know why you need to go and get the medication that the people that want you to get. And I don't say that Kim is not in the mix, because she married him knowing he was you knew he was nuts.
Yeah.
But you wanted, what did you want, Kim? You wanted mixed babies. You wanted entry into the fashion. You wanted validation into the fashion world that Kanye and Virgil and them could have give you, because you, as a reality person, they wouldn't even dress you. And I think, Fleurette, I heard you say this, and you got all of that, and now you have to deal with Kanye's lunacy, and now you're obliged to him for the rest of your life with your 4 very beautiful mixed babies. So welcome to the world of crazy baby daddies. Kim?
Right? She's just having an experience that a lot of Black women are having, except they don't have this huge platform or millions of dollars and lawyers and stuff like that. They just have to deal with it. You know, she's just having the experience of the average Black woman in certain neighborhoods, just having a crazy baby daddy, you know? Now she can say she's Black, like she's experiencing certain things.
Now it can't just be appropriation. Now can she come to the cookout? Can Kim come to the cookout? Now she got a crazy baby daddy.
As long as she don't bring that mashed potatoes that she cooks or she makes, no one. Are you okay?
Girl.
Are you okay?
Poor Kim. Choking. That's what I get.
Lord.
Serve me right for laughing at people suffering. Now I'm choking.
Lord.
I'm sorry. I hope. I really hope nothing. I hope they get it under control. Woo. Not me choking for real. I hope they get it under control. And this is choking tears. Don't nobody confuse it for anything else. I hope they get it under control, because the way it looks like it's borderline crazy. And the thing with that is that, you know, it's almost like a situation of crying wolf. Ooh, my eyes. It's almost like a situation of crying wolf, because you never know when it's gonna go over the edge. And you're just, I'm just like, is this a publicity? Oh, are y'all trying to make more money? Like, is this a publicity stunt? Or is it one day we're going to open Twitter and see some craziness, or open the news and instead of it being on TMZ, it's on CNN? You know what I mean? So I'm really cognizant that there's a fine line you walk. It's almost like, you know how when the rappers, when there's beef with rappers, and like before Biggie and Tupac, it would just be like, oh, it's fun beef, you know, nothing's really gonna happen. And then like after a situation like Biggie or Tupac, or, you know, when beef crosses the line into like, oh, they're real people. That's how I feel, you know, that's what I'm looking at when I look at that situation. So on one end, it's like, you didn't know what you were getting into when you married. Like Kanye, you didn't know that you, funny enough, you know that song, Jay-Z did called I think it's called OJ as well, and he's like, you know, oh my god, I can't remember the song, but he basically
I'm
sang
not
in the
Black,
song.
I'm OJ.
Yes, that exactly. And I feel like on Kanye's end, you didn't know that you was OJ. You didn't know you was a nigga. Like, you thought you were gonna be above it because you had close to $1 billion or whatever. You know, at that time, you didn't know that they was gonna snatch the kids from. Like, you didn't know that. And then on Kim's side, you didn't know he was like on the cusp of, like, y'all didn't know that. You know what I mean? And so, I mean, I don't know, maybe that didn't stop, you know, maybe they were hopeful, you know, that something could, you know, materialize, but
I think they're just like two people who are very much attention seekers, and they both come across very narcissistic. So it's a competition of who's the bigger attention seeker, you know? Like, even some of the posts that she posts is very cryptic. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like her family's very calculated as well. They don't do things by chance. Everything that is out there about them tends to be put out there by their publicists and things like that. So, you know,
Mhm.
she's also very much an attention seeker who married an attention seeker, and it's just a battle of popularity, like who's got more fans, who's got this, who's got that's really what it is. It's just
Mm.
two egos clashing. But one of the things that you said that is true, you know, like it, because her family have planted stories in the media, if something was to actually happen, it would be difficult for people to even believe her, because it's like you lot have fabricated so many stories in the past that one, you know, it's like you're crying wolf. So if something was to happen, God forbid, it will be so difficult for people to even feel sorry for you or even believe it, because it's going to be like, is this another publicity stunt? You know, like when Tristan had another baby mama, we were like, is this another publicity stunt? If this happened, it's like you guys plant so many fake stories out there as well, to the point whereby if something real was to happen, people are not gonna believe you off bat, which is
And
not
that's
good for her.
the risk of having such a difference between your real personality and your online persona, because you can be so
Mm,
sucked into the social media and to the celebrity lifestyle and crafting this illusion of what your life is, that when you get into some real
mm,
shit, you know what I mean, when you get into the real things, it looks like you're crying wolf, because you drummed up drama so much time before to sell Skims, or to sell Donda album, or to sell
mm,
KKW Beauty, or to sell the new
mm,
season of the Kardashians, or to sell, you know what I mean, your Yeezys. So now the line between you trying to sell something drama and your life is really almost in shambles drama, it's a blurred line and we don't know what to believe. And so now it's all entertainment. You know what I mean? And so it's like dangerous. It's a dangerous line to tread. I don't think people understand that about celebrity. I think it's like par for the course, like that's what they do. But then when real life hits them, just like it hits everybody,
yeah.
it can be now it's like, how do you get the empathy of a real human being when you used emotion and uh fantasy to drum up for money. So now it's like
Yeah.
there's no separation.
That's
I
very,
don't know.
very
I
true.
feel kind of, I wouldn't want that life. You know what I mean? Like, I'll take the money, but I do not want the fame. I do. Give me the money, but I don't want the, people in my life and all of that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, yeah. I just see a couple people in the chat. Apartment Life View. You always are here. Hello, happy. Your ladies are fully aware of clownery with Kim and Kanye. That's why I never vote for them. They're exhausting. We voting for Kim and Kanye now? They running for political office, but no, we don't.
No, I
Oh,
think they
that's why
mean
we
your
never vote for
vote.
them. Whenever, yes, no one. Honestly, no one ever votes for them. And I was a little bit shocked, even when what they say is like on the top of the news feed. And I was saying in my last kickback, I was like, I think they're buying news coverage, because nobody
It
in like
must
real
be.
life really votes for them. You know what I mean? And then I see
Yeah.
Ferd from South Africa. What's up? Always in the building. Appreciate the support. Yeah. Yes. Well, that's Kim and Kanye for you. Mhm. You know,
God
I
bless
try to,
them.
I do like to extend, empathy, to them. But I'm just like, Lord, could y'all keep your business private so we don't always have to see it at the top of our feeds every day? You know what I mean? You'd be helping not only
Ex-
yourselves and your family, but you'd be helping us too. Please.
Exactly. Exactly. Especially
Yeah.
when you're using it for like publicity for your new show. And then at the same time you want sympathy. It's like, girl, if you really want sympathy, stop using your trauma for attention. Because then it's like it comes
Yeah.
across like you're not really in trouble. Like, so
Yeah. Let me
all of
ask
that.
you something. Do you really think
Mm.
that her and Pete Davidson are really in a relationship?
I think that she is using Pete Davidson. I think Pete Davidson is really into her. But like a woman like Kim Kardashian who has she has a history of dating. She has more life experience than Pete Davidson. So it's easy for her to manipulate a young man like Pete Davidson. I think he's in over his head, and I think he just feels like, wow,
Mm.
I'm dating this like really famous person, and he's just in over his head. But I don't think she's serious about Pete Davidson. And one of the reasons why I say that is you have to look at a person's patterns, and the men that she's dated, none of them look like Pete Davidson, not even a little bit. Like he doesn't fall into her type, you know. So
Hmm.
to me, I feel like it is to almost spite Kanye. That's why I think they're both doing it to each other. She's being just as petty, but she's passive aggressive with her pettiness. He's more
Yeah,
aggressive with it, you know.
yeah.
But I follow her on
That's a woman's
Instagram.
specialty. I feel like to be able to play that game covertly, or kind of covertly.
Right,
That's why you have to
exactly.
be
And
careful.
some of her Instagram posts, what she says in them is very cryptic, you know. He's very like, "Why are you doing this to me?" And she is cryptic with what she says, and she throws shade and whatnot, but you have to catch that shade. But she's doing the same thing as him. They're in it
Mm.
together. I won't be surprised if at the end of the day they come back together and have a big wedding in the Palace of Versailles or somewhere in Italy.
And have it sponsored
Honestly.
by Hulu or wherever the new show is at. Yeah.
Exactly. And Hello Magazine and all them kind of things. It's like, oh please.
Lord, I'm tired of those girls. I'm tired of those. I'm tired of those girls, Kanye included. I'm tired of them. I'm tired of them. So, all right. So, what's going on? I know I said I didn't want to talk about this, but I mean, I know you probably have something to say. But what's
What?
going on with your favorite community, your alpha males? What's going on with your favorite alpha male community?
I was like
What do the
breaking
girls
somewhere.
need to know? What do we need to know? Because I'm tapped out.
I mean, I stopped, you know what, after a while, I even stopped listening to it because before I was like, I want to listen to it because I like to listen to men's perspective on things because I find it so bizarre how women and men can be looking at the same thing and we're not seeing the same picture. I always find that to be so strange. Like you could tell a story and a man picks up different things from the story than what you pick up. So I used to listen to a lot of them like that. But after a while, like what you said, when you start to listen to that negativity, you start to think that you are like that. You start to think that you're this worthless black woman and things that it
Mm.
really was affecting my self-esteem where I would look at myself and be like, oh my God, it's the end of the world for me, you know. So even though my purpose in listening to it was just to just hear men's perspective, but because it's so negative, it was affecting me almost on a spiritual level that I'm like, because that's information that you're taking in and it sits in your spirit, you know.
Mhm.
So I don't really listen to that. But one of the things that I have realized in a lot of these like skits pages that I follow on Instagram and things like that, they're just clowning these black guys on podcasts and who just sit there and just denigrate black women. So you get like Asian men clowning black men who do that, white men clowning, and it's just so sad.
It was only a matter of time. It was only a matter of time. I said this on a live, one of my kickbacks. I said, you think you can sit on the internet and denigrate the best thing the best creature God placed on this earth, and to make money? You're gonna sell your soul. You're going to be a laughing stock. You're going to be a laughing stock. There's no way around it. You know what I mean? And so you can do that and think you can get your attention. I said, imagine that the only way that you can get some attention, some clout, is to sit on there and speak ill of the one of the. Come on, like you were gonna. Of course, the
Yeah,
other men are gonna laugh at you because what you're talking
yeah,
about is a human. It's embarrassing. It's
it is.
embarrassing. What I see the girls doing is, I see a lot of girls being like, leave them alone. Stop caping for them. Leave them alone. Move on. And then on TikTok, I'm on TikTok now. Lord, I see you on there, but it took me a long time. I was like, I'm not going on TikTok, but I ended
TikTok
up
is a
on there,
rabbit
and I
hole.
see it's a rabbit hole. And I see a lot of girls talking about, like, look, this is my life. I don't know, what they're doing, but let me show y'all the other side. Go where you're celebrated. And granted, a lot of it is pushing interracial dating and marriage, but
Yeah,
it's basically like, leave them alone, leave them to their own devices. And then, of course, over time, the other men was going to be like, look at these idiots. It's embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. So
it is. It
what they
is.
want us to do now, they
Don't
want
get
us
me
to save
started.
them. Now they want us to come back and say they didn't mean it. We still, you're going to be by yourself out there.
Mm-mm,
No, I'm not saving you.
mm-mm.
I
Don't
don't
they
have
say
nothing to
they're not
say.
Captain Save a Ho? I'm also not Captain Save a Ho. Like I don't, so it's the same
I'm
thing.
not gonna save you. You're gonna have to figure out how you dig yourself out of that hole you dug yourself into. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. But I do feel sad because it's like it's gonna affect the black men who don't have that mentality. It's gonna be because what always happens is that we get swept over. So if a couple of black people steal and then a person of a different race sees a black person, they automatically think black people steal. So we always get that blanket over us. So what's gonna happen is like the guys who don't have that mentality are gonna get treated like that as well. Like, oh, you guys are, have that same mentality. Because even for me, if I came across a black guy and he told me he has a podcast, already you've lost like 5 points. What's your podcast about?
I see them
Relationships.
making
You've
fun
lost
of
all
that.
points. You've
Go
lost
build
all
a
points because
house. go go work. What are you sitting on the internet running your mouth like a female? And not only are you running your mouth like the female, you know what? I saw a meme the other day and it was so true. And I think it falls into these guys with these podcasts. It was talking about like, stop trying to be a bad bitch. Like a lot of these dudes out here really want to they really want to be a bad bitch. Stop it. Stop it, bruh. Chill out. Go let the females have that domain. Let the females have that space. Let them be the bad bitch and you support
right?
their light. But don't try to you wanna talk bad about them because you want to be them. And that's the
Yeah,
point of like being, that's the brainwashing, that's the gaslighting, right? Is like
yeah,
when you see so many targets aimed at one kind of group of people, you're like, what? They don't aim at number two like that. Nobody's aiming for
mm-mm.
number three like that. They aim at number one like that. So when you see them speaking ill, just know you want to be me so bad. You want to be us so bad, and you're using this gaslighting thing to try to do it. You know what I mean? So I knew it was only a matter of time before the Asians and the Middle Eastern and the white guys was like, "Are these dudes serious? Like, look at these dudes. Like, what the hell are they doing?" I knew it was only gonna be a matter of time. So, I want to see how they. I'm interested to see how they recover, and I hope that the
Yeah,
influence wasn't too widespread, right? Because
right.
sometimes it's easy to be, you kind of talked about it a little bit. You watched it because you're an open person and you're like trying to
Mm,
hear and see what they're talking about. And then next thing you know, you're feeling it in your spirit, like it's sitting on you. And I hope a lot of guys didn't get too influenced by that, because I feel like these days you
mm,
have to be very, very sensitive and attuned to what you're watching and what you're absorbing, because it impacts you harder than previous time. You know what I mean? Because I feel like we're all so very sensitive right now that, you watch
yeah,
the news and now your whole day is ruined, or you go to bed with visions of war in your psyche because you were watching the news,
mm,
or or you were listening to something that didn't serve you. And so now it will sit on you, too much. So I feel like you have to be careful. So hopefully the influence didn't go too far and too deeply,
yeah, yeah. You have to cleanse yourself of it. Like I just started to listen to positive things and whatnot. And it's sad because you come across so many women, and I've been there as well, where you reach a certain age and you just start to think, oh my gosh, if I haven't accomplished this, I'm just a loser in life. And then it's like, you know what? You need to be grateful for the things that you have, because there's something you have right now that you're taking for granted. Someone is on their knees praying for it. There's something you have in your life, someone else is praying for it, and you're looking at it like, oh my gosh, I'm this age and I'm not married, and I don't have kids. But you know what? You're not sick in a bed in a hospital. You haven't got terminal illness, and you haven't lost a limb. You don't need an organ transplant. There's so much stuff you could be so grateful for, but sometimes we look at the cup as half empty instead of half full. And I'm just trying to learn to be like, you know what? I don't have this because I want that, but I have this and I need that. Like I may not have a husband and kids, but I have good health, and that's even more important. And therefore, I'm grateful, and I'm gonna have an attitude of gratitude, and I'm not going to let some random man, okay, and his secret problems that he doesn't put out there on the internet and tell everybody why he's been twice divorced and this, that, and the third. That's his business. Tell me that my life is over because I'm not married with a child by a certain age. It's like, is your life over? You're twice divorced. You know,
I
it's
was
just like,
talking
I don't, I don't know.
I was talking about that on my that secret life of, like, somebody who's not equipped to give you any advice, sitting on the internet giving you advice that makes you feel
Mm,
bad. Like, that's red flag number one. If you're listening to somebody and you walk away feeling worse than you did before, red flag. That means what they're saying is either untrue or is untrue in your experience. So you have to be so careful not to let ignore your intuition. If you are watching something or reading something or experiencing something and you walk away from it and you're like, I don't feel good about it, like that doesn't make me feel good, then you need to cut that out and stop absorbing it, because it is not true to you, and that's your intuition flagging you to say that. Last night on my on Friday night on my live, I was talking about sugar daddies, because that's what the people done picked. They picked this conversation about, like, stop capping on your sugar daddy. And you can see that's up now. I just put the timestamps in today. So if you want to check that out, definitely check it out, because I was definitely dropping some gems in that one too. And the folks were saying, ooh, they didn't know this and didn't know that. So I dropped some gems in that one. But one of the very last things that I said at the end of that was that clock. What I'm noticing dating in Atlanta about young bucks, the younger guys versus the old heads, is that women are very keenly aware of the time pressures that they put on us. They put a big time clock over our head, talking about you're getting old, and they put a big time clock over our womb, talking about when you're gonna have a baby, when you're gonna do this, when you're gonna do that. But they don't put that same time clock over guys. And so we go through life very keenly aware of the time pressures, and they don't. But the problem, and the part that I want guys to really understand, is that at the end of the day, they will wake up 51 and 55 and 60, and they themselves will hit a wall. They can't pull any girls that they used to pull. Their man parts don't work like they used to work. And that same clock that they put over a woman's head is the one that will box them in their face, but they're unaware
boy,
of it because the pressures are only pushed towards us. But you are under
exactly.
that same pressure. You are under that same clock. And so you have to be mindful
Everybody,
of that. You know what I mean? You have
everybody,
to be mindful of that. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So, protect your magic and don't let anybody tell you any foolishness. You know what I mean? And especially when they're gaslighting. That was the old paradigm of how they always gaslight women. You're not this, you're not that. You have to run down a man, and you have to run down children. You have to run down this lifestyle by the time you're 30. I see right now, I wanted to talk about it a little bit, but I feel like it's a little insensitive, because I see these girls, and these girls are not even 25, and they're on the internet crying. You know what I mean? These girls be 29 on the internet crying, like, I don't have this and I don't have that. I'm like, girl, you what like, why do you, I don't know. I didn't realize that so many people had that timing issue and had such a contentious relationship with time. You know what I mean? I'm gonna tell you this. I went out on a date. Girl, I went out on a date, or like official like date, the other night, and the guy said, oh yeah, he said, I have a great relationship with. He said, oh, time is our friend. Time is our friend. And I noticed it because I had been journaling about having a better relationship with time, and not feeling like time was escaping me, and that I was running out of time. And so I had been actively journaling about that, and manifesting about that, and praying about that. And so to be out on this date with this random guy who, new relationship, who was so affirmative about his relationship with time, I was like, look at God. Look at God, mirroring back to me what I was trying to affirm. You know what I mean? And so, I see these girls having such a contentious relationship with time, and it is an illusion. It is totally an illusion. And you have to, when I say illusion, I don't mean that your experience um is not true. It is, but you have to realize that it's a thought or a conditioning that doesn't serve you. So you can change the way you see that, and try to cultivate a better relationship with time, and try to think about, like, what am I learning, or what should I be doing, or what should I be, aspiring to in this time period between where I am and where I think I want to be. you know what I mean, and use the time as opposed to like fretting about it and all of that. And I'm not gonna say that haven't been there. I absolutely have. I think everybody's been there, but you have to notice that when you're doing that, try to rein it in, you know what I mean? And don't go down the rabbit hole of woe is me, you know what I mean? Because time is on your side and you're on a journey and there's everything, there's things that have to unfold before certain things happen for you. You know what I mean? Then to some extent there's free will and some extent there's destiny, depending on if you believe in that. But you have to let it unfold naturally. You can't be in a fight with your own journey. You know what I mean? Just because somebody else's journey is different, or because the Kardashians say is different. You know what I mean? So you have to be careful about that. I'm looking. Katie is saying, when that time clock boxed them in their face, you know what I mean, they'll find out. What on the live, what happened was, we have a viewer, Cynthia, who's in New Orleans. New Orleans is a very spiritual part of the United States. So she works in a herbs shop, so kind of like a spiritual shop. And she was saying, you would not believe the amount of men that come into that shop looking for herbs to make the man parts work properly. And the point was that same clock that they put over a woman's womb, the same wall that a woman is going to hit, they behind hit too. It's just that they're not keenly aware of it and boxed in your face. And now you're in the herb shop looking for herbs because you was watching Kevin Samuels tell you that you was an alpha male and had all the time in the world. So just know that.
I had all the time in the world. Do you know,
Okay.
I like when I hear those stories of guys saying, oh, guys don't hit the wall and things like that. It's
Okay.
like, do you know how many 50-year-old men try to talk to me and I'm looking at them like, are you okay? Like, are you okay? Do you know, in the sense of like, you could be my dad. Like, don't do that. Do you know how many 50-year-old, like, when these guys say that, I'm like, how many of your 50, 60-year-old uncles are walking around with a 24-year-old girlfriend? And I'm talking about your regular, degular uncle. He used to be a janitor. He used to be a plumber. He used to be a teacher. He used to be an accountant. We're not talking about millionaires, billionaires. We're talking about a regular 60-year-old man. He's walking around with a 25-year-old girl that looks like a model. How many of your uncles look like have that? Because if it's none, then you know that men hit a wall. Okay, because there comes a time where a man becomes invisible to certain women of a certain age because it's like you don't have anything that I would want. Okay, because
Besides
especially,
money. Besides
but even
money.
then, like some of these girls are like 30 years old, earning 200K a year. I mean, like, and you're still like, no offense, but you have a regular job. So some of these girls are out earning you. So it's like, why would she date you? So this whole notion of like men don't hit a wall, it's like men hit a wall. When you go to the club and you see that 60-year-old trying to dance to the rap songs, it's like your
Mm-hmm.
time of being in the club has come to an end many years ago. You should have stopped coming over. Like you should have stopped coming to the clubs back in like 1985. But here you are. Okay? Men hit a wall and they
Here you are, Jerome, trying to use the same old lines, talking about tender fine tenderoni, what's going on, how you doing, bruh. If you don't go sit down, your time is up. You was on the internet watching them alpha males tell you about how you ain't hit the wall and don't know these girls is out here balling 5-star dinners for them and the girls, for the dolls. You know what I mean? And you can't use the same line. So there is that same clock. It's just that they run it to us by the time you're 15, and y'all don't realize that that same clock until you're 50, trying to holler at a 25-year-old.
exactly.
You know what I mean? And don't have a thing
Exactly.
to offer her but worms.
Oh, pension, your little pension. But it's also like one of the things is I would hear these guys speak and then they would compare themselves to men who are not in their bracket as well. Like I would hear some of them say things like, oh, well, look at Will Smith. It's like Will Smith is worth 300 million. If you had 300 million, you're a catch to everybody. Like Jay-Z said, he's never seen an ugly billionaire, meaning you have enough money, you're attractive to everyone. Okay? You're attractive to everyone. They'll compare themselves to like Will Smith. It's like, do you know the kind of diet, the kind of nutrition, the kind of like doctors Will Smith has that you who don't have access to because you cannot afford that? on a regular income as a regular man, as to know why he looks like that at the age of like in his mid 50s, that he doesn't even look like he's in his mid 50s. You know what I mean? We don't know what he's done,
And it's just
because you
it's
can't even.
just to say, it's not to say, it's not to speak ill to men at all, but it's just to say a little bit of a wake up call.
Right.
Don't, you know, be careful what these gurus and these guys on the internet are saying to you and what you absorb, because the reality is that you're in the same place. So if you want a woman in your life, if you want that loving relationship, then go after it and step up, and don't think that you have all the time in the world and that you're going to be able to pull a 25 or a 35-year-old or even a 40-year-old. You may not. You know what I mean? And so humble yourself a little bit. It's not only women out here that's gonna hit the wall, or that's gonna age out, or that's gonna be, I don't know if you know what other terminology they use, but you know what I mean? Like, just know that you're in the same boat. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
said this on my live. Some of y'all reach to a certain age and you already default to sugar daddy territory. And so you may be sitting there wondering, why can't I get any girls to be around? Because you're old and you need to run that check immediately. The girls is out here
Yeah.
not playing with you. They're not even going to entertain you. So I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, that's a little bit of a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people, because guys grow up thinking that they should be loved just for just, you should just love me for me. I don't, you know, just love me for me. Okay, that might be with you when you're 25 and strapping and all of that. But by the time you 45, 55, you're gonna have to come to the table as a, you know, distinguished gentleman, you know, well established, you know what I mean, have your stuff together. Otherwise you
Exactly.
gonna be Jerome in the club looking for young tenderonis and ain't gonna find that. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's
Yeah,
just,
I mean, yeah, we're definitely not trying to put men down, because sometimes I get
no.
that on my videos when, guys will be like, I've had to delete so many comments in one of my videos that I did about do black men hate black women? And it was literally
Mhm.
a question like, do you feel that way? I had so many, like, I had even like a gay guy commenting and saying, "Oh, I'm so happy I'm gay because black women are trash and this, that, and the third." It was like to that extent. Like, it was just so crazy. And like, guys were literally, and one guy I told him, I was like, you don't need to come here and play victim with black women. And some of them are saying, yeah, well, black women are the enemy of black men. I'm like, if you think black women are your biggest enemy as a black man in America, you're gonna have such a rude awakening. It's gonna be so crazy for you. You don't even understand. You know, so my videos, I even tried to tell them, like, this is not about denigrating black men or putting black men down, but it's about having a conversation. Because the negativity that's put out there by some of these people, yes, it affects women and maybe some women and how they feel, but it affects you because it gives you false information. And by the time you have a wake up call, you've wasted 10 years of your life and nobody cares. You know what I mean? You could wake up and it's like you've been listening to this man, like Derek Jackson and what he was doing and giving all this advice, and he wasn't living the life he was preaching. It's like there are men who do that, and they will put a battery in your back and make you think a certain way. Then you wake up one day, no woman wants to deal with you. You have a poor mentality. A woman doesn't want to be with a man who hates women. And you just have a poor outlook on life and a poor outlook on women. And nobody wants to tolerate your nonsense. And then now you're old and you need someone, a companion, and nobody wants to put up with you.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to
Yeah.
put up with you. And then you're going to look
Yeah.
back and be like, you know what? I shouldn't listen to that because now look at me. But it's
Right.
too late for you now. So this is
Yeah.
not
I mean,
helping the women or the men. It's not helping the community as a
no.
whole.
No.
Like Kel said, like if you have to put someone down to elevate yourself, you're really not actually elevating yourself.
Right.
You're really not.
It's only a matter of time before the pendulum swings back the other way. Like, it had gotten really toxic and I just was like, let me pull out of it a little bit and not pay attention, and hopefully, you know, some reality comes back into it. And it usually starts with the comedians and the artists who are like pointing out truths that people are pretending not to see. And so when the comedians and the artists come in and they're like, this is stupid, why are y'all pretending like it's not? Then hopefully some logic will start to like come back into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, you know, yeah. Looking at the comments, I've been posting a couple comments up. You guys are really chatty in the comments, so appreciate it. Fern in the building, DB in the building as usual. Ruby, Katie, we saw you in here earlier. And yeah, I appreciate you guys keeping the comments warm and chiming in on the conversation. Ferd says, I'm 52. I won't date a woman 35 and younger. I will support other younger, but only as a father figure. Respect. Yeah. I hear you. Ferd is based in South Africa. Appreciate our international people. This is the international baddie link up. Me and Fleurette, it's probably been over a year since we did a live, and we were going strong for a little bit there, but my father passed away and I just could not, I didn't have anything to say about anything at that point. And so it took me a little bit of a while to like get my voice back. But at the top of this year, decided to come back on YouTube hard and said, you know what, this feels like following my bliss. This feels like what I want to do. And so I definitely want to rebuild the community, show some consistency, go live each and every Friday night. And not only go on live each and every Friday night, pop up with a collab video with the doll Fleurette. You know what I mean? Bring back the international vibes to the thing. You know what I mean? And so hopefully you guys are enjoying us just chit-chatting, catching up for our birthdays. You got two Pisces babies in the building. Fleurette's birthday was, what day was your birthday, honey? What day was it?
The 4th of March.
The 4th of March, and mine is the 19th of March. So we got some true blood, true fish water signs in the building. Fleurette, do you know your big three, your sun sign, your rising sign, and your moon sign? You know those?
No, I don't.
Okay, you'd have to put them in a website basically, and like
Right.
one of the websites, and basically you have to know, like it'll tell you. So we all pretty much know that like you're Pisces because that's your sun sign. That's like what month you were born. But if you know, like obviously everybody knows like your location of your birth and the time of your birth, and if you know those three things, your date, your location, and your time, you can put it into like astro.com or one of the astrology sites, and it'll tell you your full chart. It'll show you your full chart. So not only your sun sign, which is Pisces, but your big three, your sun, your moon, which governs your emotions, and your rising, which governs your kind of soul's evolution, supposedly. And so it'll give you a better idea. So like we're both Pisces sun, but you might be like Sagittarius moon and then a Leo rising, which would make your personality different than me, who is like a Pisces, a Cancer rising, and a Scorpio moon. So if you ever met somebody who was like, oh, we're both Pisces, but they're like completely different than you, and you're like, what the hell kind of Pisces? Or you're thinking like, well, maybe I'm not a Pisces like that. It's because they're other bodies that were in the sky when they were born are different, are in different signs basically. So that's what those
Okay, cool.
The big three are: your sun, your moon, and your rising. So if you know those, it'll give you like a closer picture of your like personality based on astrology.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I like it. I never paid attention to it until one time I was in Mexico City. I met a guy and was in a club basically in Polanco in Mexico City, and he asked me, "Oh, what's your sign?" And I said, "Oh, Pisces." And he's like, "And your other ones, the other moon and rising." And I was like, I don't know. And he said, oh, go on. I was like, you believe in that stuff? And he was like, yeah. Go on. He's like, go on this website and, look it up and see what it is. And then when I looked it up, I realized that my big three were all water signs. And I was like, oh, that explains a lot. You know what I mean? And so I always think it's interesting to know like at least those three, because then you could it's like, you get to know the person a little bit better, based on astrology, if you believe in that. Do you feel like you're a true Pisces?
Do you know what? Because I'm not really into astrology, I actually don't know what a true Pisces is. Like, I don't know the elements of like a Pisces. I just know that's what I am, okay. According to that. Because I'm not really into it. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Is that Willie Jr.? Or Will
DB,
Jr.?
DB Will Jr. DB's always in the building.
But yeah, I don't really know because I don't read into it, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. I'm definitely into it.
Yeah, you're definitely into it. One of my friends actually, he's really much into it. He's always, and I was like, you and Kells would get along. You guys would have a whole conversation because he talks to me about it, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, you and Kells would get it. You guys would. I was like, you should follow her because she's always posting stuff, and I'll be reading it, but I don't know what she's talking about.
If you know, like, okay, yeah, tell him to follow me. Tell him to hit me up in the DM. Let's talk about it. Let's see what he's talking about. He might be. I like it. I like it a lot because it just is a little bit illuminating. But you know you have to. Again, it's like very intuitive. So if it's like if it doesn't resonate with you, like if you're not like, oh, I really, if you're not intrigued by like, oh, I really should know that, then it's not either it's not for you or it's not the time.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And so like wait until you're like, oh, I want to know more about that. And then that's the time that like it's supposed to cross
Okay.
your path. But before that, if it's like, I don't care, then leave it, leave it. But
Okay.
I didn't care. But then somebody told me to look into it and I was like, okay. And when I looked into it, I was like, oh, wow. And it was just intriguing to me. So I did it. I did it. I did it. I did it.
Okay, good. So what was the topic you wanted to talk about? This was the topic you wanted to talk about, the what did we talk about again?
I didn't hear you say it again.
What was the topic you wanted to talk about?
Fleurette, I just wanted to catch up with you for our birthdays. I had no topics
Oh,
planned. I knew the folks would show up in the
girl.
comments and add color to what we were talking about today. And I definitely wanted to cheers with you and pop a little bubbly and just celebrate our birthdays. I really was hoping
Girl.
that this year we could do something, but we didn't get to do it. I
Yeah.
thought we
I,
could.
but you know what? It's because our birthday is so at the beginning of the year, so it's like you have to plan so quickly, and it's difficult because we live so far apart. Like, but we could do a little meet up later on in the year or whatever. Like, I actually really want to come to the US because I haven't been in like 7 years or 6 years,
You need to
so
come
it'll be
because the
nice.
last lives we did, I came to London. Not lives,
Yeah,
the last
the
collab
videos.
video. I came to London and we did it in, we were in, was it Shoreditch? Where were we?
Yeah, sure did.
Yeah, we were in Shoreditch and that was so much fun. So now you have to come, now you have to come to the United States. You said you were coming to New York, but I'm like, girl, New York is far. Come to Atlanta.
Is Atlanta close? Because I was looking, because I always time it to New York. Like, however, because New York is like 6 hours. So I'm like, anything more than 6 hours, you're far away. Um,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it was my friend. I don't know if she's gonna go, but I kind of want to come to New York during like the spring break in April, by God's grace, if it happens. Um,
Okay.
just just come over New York, and we was just planning like go to New York or maybe go to another city afterwards. It would be cool to go to Atlanta because it seems to be the place where all the black people are at, and I like to be where all the black people are at.
Chocolate City. I mean, I thought DC was Chocolate City, but quiet as it's kept, it's Atlanta. So
Do you watch
Atlanta's
that
giving
show?
DC. Which one?
Love, Ready to Love.
I'm seeing, I don't know if it's the newest season because I'm seeing it on YouTube, but I'm seeing one and it looks like it was in DC.
Yes, there was one in DC, and I watched that season, and I was like, "This is why Kells move out of that place. It's just not happening. It just wasn't happening." There was all these black people, and they were just like, "I've never seen you. I've never seen," and it was just so boring. I was like, "DC's not popping," because you guys would have seen each other, like, like I was thinking to myself, yeah, the social life might not be popping for the black people over there, because like when they were in Houston. A lot of them were already familiar with each other because they were like they've seen each other, they've hung out and things like that. But DC that season was so boring.
Yeah. Yeah. Houston is nice. One year I went to Houston for a conference and I was not prepared. I thought I wasn't sure. I was coming from DC. DC is it's a weird kind of vortex thing to it where you're like a little bit removed from like reality a little bit. That's just how I felt about it. But like when I went to
Mm.
Houston, I was thinking, oh, I'm just going to Texas or whatever. Houston's in Texas. When I went there, oh my God, I was like, whoa, I'm not prepared to be here. Like my outfits weren't ready because the men, I mean, the women were beautiful. The men were like big and like, you know how I don't know if you ever heard this, but they say everything's bigger in Texas. The
Yeah.
dudes were big. I was like, oh my God, I'm totally unprepared to be here coming from DC. Like I was thinking, I was in my suits, my black suits and like boringness and, I was a little bit more dressed up, but not to my full, like capacity. ill
Like
prepared to go to
glam.
Houston. Houston is, even in my comments, when the girls are talking about where to be, they're like, go west, go to Texas, go to Houston, you know what I mean? Go Denver, go Arizona, and things like that. And so Houston was amazing. So I suspect that time, that season must have been good.
It
DC is
was.
just like so focused on work and it's so governmenty. You know, I just didn't find it easy to connect with people. Atlanta, every time I go out, you exchange phone numbers with somebody. Somebody's in your face talking to you, telling you to come out here, let's go dancing, let's go here, exchange numbers. What's your IG? You exchange IGs with them. They got 50,000 followers. They got 1 million followers. You're like, what the heck? I swear,
How?
Atlanta, the Southern hospitality here is just, and the relationships is, I like it. I like it.
What kind of relationships? What, romantic or non friendships?
To me, it's feeling like there's gonna be more. You know, it's feeling like there's gonna be more options in Atlanta, and everybody was like, dating in Atlanta sucks. Dating in Atlanta sucks. But I think you have to be prepared to date. Period. So if you're not
Yeah.
prepared to date, then it's going to suck. But you have to be in that, like, oh, I'm open, I'm ready, I'm open, I'm feeling good, I'm not desperate, I'm not, you know, my standards are where they are, you know what I mean? I'm looking for, you know,
Yeah.
I'm looking to be out and open, and not kind of like, it's so easy to talk to people, like they just talk to you, you know what I mean? And you're
Yeah,
like, dang,
I
how
like
come?
that. I don't like when you feel like it feels like an interview. I like it when people just feel like they just want to talk to you and get to know you and whatnot. So yeah, I definitely want to
That,
come to Atlanta,
yeah.
BBOL.
Come on, come to Atlanta. They would love your accent. As soon as you start talking, I'll probably push you up front and be like, "Go talk, go over there, go talk." See what
I
and
would
see.
like totally force it as well. I'd be like, good day.
People be like, "Wait, what was that? What was that?" You know what I mean? So they would love your accent. They would. I think,
I
yeah.
mean, I've
And even
already
if you
had
come to New
someone
York,
say
if
I
you
look
come to New York,
American.
I could probably come up there for a couple of days and see you guys.
That'll be good.
Yeah, yeah. All right, Fleurette. Next time we go live, I'm definitely going to come with some questions, some juicy questions. I think we should probably do like a topic. Should we redo? I don't know. Should we redo the dating? We did our most popular video was the dating. No, what was it? Was it dating in London? What was our most popular video? Let me look real quick.
Um, I think it was like there was one video dating in London, and there was one like American man
Versus,
versus British men or English men. That'd be good.
yeah.
Maybe it should be doing like dating after COVID because the
Oh,
dating atmosphere has completely changed.
how so? Just give us a little bit. Just a little bit.
Um, like for me, like even because right now, we are more like out of it now. You know, people don't wear masks as much and whatnot, which is so much better for me because it was messing up my lipstick. But like, I don't know, like the atmosphere is a bit different. It doesn't feel the same. Like I haven't been on a date since 19 came to town, you know, like I haven't been on a date and but I've been asked a few times and I said no because it's one of those whereby you can clearly see like there's no potential here, like there's no attraction, there's nothing at all. But I feel like there's a slight scarcity. I don't know. There's a slight quietness, like almost like people aren't dating as much. So I don't know if it's because people have lost their jobs or things are going around. I don't know. Or people are more reclusive because you work from home and you do everything at home and you know you're not really back in the office. Whereas before you socialize more because you went out, you went to work, then after work you went out
Commute.
for drinks, you went out for a meal, and you would meet people. But now it's like people work from home. Like I still work from home part time, so it's like there's certain days of the week like I genuinely don't leave my house, so I'm just at home the whole time. Like for instance, this weekend I've been home and I'm working from home Monday, Tuesday, so I've literally been home from Friday when I got in until tomorrow. Like I've not had a reason to go outside. Whereas if I was working, I would maybe after work I would have been like, oh, let's go for a drink or let's go for a meal or something, you know. But
Yeah.
it's just like I've literally been home for 4 days straight. I'm gonna be home for 4 days straight,
Okay.
and I think that might be the
Okay.
reason. Other people are probably doing it's the same thing for them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For me, yeah, we should totally do a live and talk about like post 19 dating and see and like talk about like do a live dedicated to that and see, you know, what the people are feeling and things like that. For me, because me too, and just briefly, like I've been working from home as well, but it seems like whenever I do go out, people are friendlier. But I am pretty sure it is because I'm in Atlanta versus DC. If I was in DC, I'm sure it would be still the same drought, you know, that I kind of was experiencing before. And also colder places like London and DC, the personalities, I think you should wait till spring really hits. Wait
Right.
till my birthday, wait till the first day of spring so that you so when spring really hits, I don't know when it actually gets warm in London, I don't remember, but probably around April or May. But what I realized about living in cold places, and Atlanta is not really cold, it gets cold but it's not like it's still southern, right? um what I realized about living in cold places, that people's personalities are so tied to the weather. And I didn't
Mm.
coming from Miami, because it's always hot. I didn't realize that the general populace personality fluctuated that much. It was only when I moved to DC and I realized that, oh, in winter, and this was also public transport. So in Miami, we didn't have public transport. Everybody drove themselves. So it was only until I came back from London, moved to DC, and then was on public transport. I would see, oh, in the winter, everyone wears black, gray, and navy, and nobody talks to you. And then as soon as spring started coming, again on the public transport, that's when people will start talking to you again. And I was like, oh my God, y'all are very, everyone's personality is tied to the weather. So maybe since this new strain has kind of like, they've made it disappear, conveniently disappear as we go into a war, basically. As that's disappeared, maybe in spring, the person that people will come out of their shell a little bit more.
Mm.
What you think?
Hopefully, I mean, London is a different place in the summertime, especially when we have a heat wave. You know, London is such a vibe. Like Londoners as a whole, we're so much nicer to people in the summertime. We're way more friendlier, way more helpful. So I can't even wait for summertime. Hopefully, we're gonna have a really good summer, and hopefully, Carnival comes back because we haven't had Carnival since 2019, and that's something I definitely want to go to. So, and I know if we have carnival this year, it's gonna be lit because it's been like 2 years without carnival. So everyone's gonna show up. Even people who don't like carnival, we're all gonna show up just to have a good old time and for like to have that energy because London has a certain energy in the summertime, like you're always outside just constantly because we don't get that much sun. So when we get sun, we're like, I'm going outside and I'm gonna be outside until the sun sets. Okay. Um, so yeah, hopefully we're gonna be more social this summer that we're actually gonna make an effort at people. I know I want to. I've already got my little spring summer wardrobe ready for me to show out, honey. So so
Cheers to
hopefully we're
that.
gonna
That's what
be
I
more out.
say. Cheers. Clink, 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 clink. Look, that's what I said. I just was like, get ready, get ready, get ready. That's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just get prepared, outfits together, sleep, rest, water, workouts, whatever it is. But it's coming back. It's just like the tail end of it. I know a couple of people, they put options in talking about uh which, is it, I didn't do anything during the pandemic, is it there still time, is there still time, you know what I mean? And so like to bounce back or whatever. And so I'm like, look, instead of worrying about is there still time, just do what you need to do to make yourself feel the best you can do so that when the summer hit, we can make it do what it do, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, DB is saying being in real New York, or people are just different here in the cold weather. 100%. 100%. They do not, when he says when it's called, you don't want to conversate with anyone, let alone flirt. I noticed that up north. I noticed that. I didn't realize it being a Southern, being a Florida baby, that's what happened until I didn't even notice it that much in London because I wasn't on public transport every day. when I was there. But when I was in DC, when I was on public transport, I was like, oh, y'all personalities definitely are tied to the weather. Okay. And that seasonal depression thing is real, real. So,
Right. Yeah, it's
yeah.
so true. I would love to come back to New York. I have like, I even have like a picture of like New York in my room. So like when I wake up in the morning, I look at the picture and I feel like, oh, I'm in New York. I'm so obsessed with that city. Like it's so crazy. I'm obsessed with it. I think like one day I would love to move there. But every time I watch anything about New York and like living in New York, it seems like such a hard life. And I'm just like, I'm trying to live that soft life. I'm trying to live that feminine life.
I saw Breenie Lee's post about, I didn't watch all of it because honestly, it started to sound like foolishness at the beginning. So I stopped watching it, but I saw that she did a whole post and luxuriating about soft life and not do it, not having to this hustle as the contrary to this hustle life or this get off your ass and work life that Kim Kardashian wants all the women to do. But I saw that Miss Breenie Lee was like, no, ma'am, I'm living that soft, feminine ease and flow life, and I was there. I'm here for that life as well. Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, I
Anyway.
think it's because like black women, we get taught to like, I think black people as a whole, we're so used to suffering like and struggle life. We see our parents struggle, our grandparents struggle. We listen to stories of struggle, and it's just like we internalize it and we think to be alive is to struggle your whole life, like it's even crazy. I remember one time I was listening to it was an interview with with John David Washington, right? And that's Denzel Washington's son. And he was like
Oh.
talking about how he didn't want his dad to help him financially. He went to college and he had a scholarship, and he was saying all these things which were cool, but it was just like it just seems like you just want to struggle where you don't have to, because honestly,
Mhm.
your dad could be like, here, go to college. Like you're going to college, it's not a bad thing. But the
Yeah.
way he was describing things, it was just like he's just so conditioned to be like, I'm a black man, so I must struggle. It's like you don't need to struggle because your father struggled, so you can relax in your father's success. It's okay for you to be like, I don't need to do that much because I came from something, because people of other races, they completely are relaxing in a great grandfather's wealth and his legacy, not even their father's. But it was crazy because listen to his interview, even as a guy who was raised in like Beverly Hills or somewhere, he still had that mentality of to be black is to struggle in life. Like you must struggle. And I remember it was on the Charlemagne that breakfast show, and Charlemagne was like, "You want to struggle so damn bad," and I was like, "Yeah, why you want to struggle so bad?"
To prove yourself, to try to prove yourself for some reason that people think that like that's a mindset that I had to really reckon with. It's like, wait a minute, life is not like we are grown up to think that life should be hard. Like if your life is
Mm,
not hard, like hard life is what it should be, and if
yeah,
it's not hard, then something's wrong. But
yeah,
that's not the reality of it. You know what I mean? That's not the only reality. You have to be comfortable living a life of ease and flow and soft life, like Brittany Lee said. You know what I mean? And not having
exactly.
your mind that if I'm not grinding, if I don't push down every opportunity to do it myself, then I didn't earn it. So, I'm not a man. Dude, let your father, you think I'm gonna want to do the life my grandmother did or my grandfather did? No, I don't. They did it, so I don't have to do it. You know what I mean? So
Amen.
you're disgracing. I mean, what, you're gonna just disgrace your the work of your ancestors because you're trying to prove something. Let them do they did the work so you can move into the space easily. Yeah, so accept
Exactly.
that support. You know what I mean? So I don't know, we'll have to
Exactly.
talk about that too. So we have like some topics to talk about: dating after 19, soft life, and life not always like the opposite, soft life versus hustle. I didn't earn it if I didn't struggle through it kind of life. So, I get it,
Right.
but bruh, when you have an there's not a lot of, no, I'll rephrase this. A lot of times they always talk about, everyone's happy to talk about the bad things about being black, but they're so quiet on the good things. And there's a lot of good things. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like when you have a good opportunity, when you have a leg up, be grateful and accept it. You know what I mean? So don't just be like,
Yeah.
oh, let me earn it myself, bruh. That's not what anybody else is saying. Nobody
Right.
else is saying that.
Other people don't mind. They would literally live in comfortably in their great grandfather's legacy. And even like one of the things that we tend to hear from Black Americans, you know, you always hear like the Black American struggle life. Like, I came from the streets, you know, the streets raised me. And I always used to think to myself, so none of you lot grew up in like just nice neighborhoods and your dad was a lawyer or something. Or like, it's like I never hear that story. It's always like every time I hear a Black person from America, the story they tell me is the same story. You grew up in the streets and struggle and cockroaches and this and that. You didn't have food, and I'm like, where are the Black people that have food? They grew up in a nice house and played tennis
I
on the
mean, we have
weekends.
the
Like,
Huxtables, we had Fresh Prince of Bel Air, you know, we had Family Matters, which was like a cop, a blue collar cop, like, you know, but they like that story. Americans like that underdog story. They like that
mm,
underdog story, and they like that story. They like to reinforce an ideology about blackness that is like a lesser than ideology. And we're gonna make this full circle, and then we're gonna close out the live. Coming back to Kanye, coming back to Kanye. The one thing he did this year that he said that I really liked, he's not the first person to talk about it, was instead of calling it Black History Month, which we know for us here in America is February, I believe in the UK it's October.
yeah,
The one thing he did was like said, let's stop calling it Black History Month and let's call it Black Futures Month. And I really like that. I really like that concept of Black Futures Month, because every time they want to tell a Black story, the first thing they're going to want to do is make it a slave story.
I can't.
And they make these fantasy stories about their lives and King of Thrones or whatever the Thrones thing, and they make the English, you know, princesses and princes, and they make, all these very diverse stories about who they are. But whenever it's
Right,
a story about blackness, it's struggle, love, police killing you, running you down, or it's slave movie. You mean to tell me? You mean to tell me that that's it? It's just struggle, as clear as my skin is, as clear as Fleurette's skin is, as hydrated. You know what I mean? It's just struggle. That's it. That's the only story that could sell. You
it's
know what I
so
mean? I
true.
want to see more Black Panther. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see more sci-fi Black films. I don't want to see any more Black history. Stop beating a dead horse. I want to see
Right,
Black futures. You know what I mean? I want to see something aspirational that for the Black people, and those old time stories are those underdog struggle. You
right,
know, beat them down and they still made it. You know, stories. No, I'm not for that struggle life. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And so, or that struggle love or anything like that. So, I
yeah.
appreciated in all Kanye's lunacy. I appreciated that platform for Black Futures Month instead of Black History Month.
I mean, there's good Black history. They just don't talk about it. Whenever they have a positive Black history, they put white actors, so then it then removes the Black people. Because then we're like, okay, I can't even relate because you know they've done films about like ancient Egyptian kings, and it was like a white man who played Ramesses, and it was like, okay. You know, I mean, there was even that movie that Taraji P. Henson was in about like the NASA scientist, the Black female scientist. And then they put this fictional white man who played a savior, but in real life, that character wasn't real.
Yeah,
But it
yeah,
was
the one
to
about the
remove,
scientists going to the moon, the moon. Yeah,
yeah,
hidden figures.
yeah, hidden figures. And it's like it removed that magic that you would have got from Black girls watching it and saying, I want to be a NASA scientist. And, you know, it removed it because it made it seem like, yeah, you're only going to get there if a white man lets you in, you know, like kind of like it's, I mean, this is another topic to talk about because you don't want me to get into my Uma Johnson rant now. You don't want me to put on my dashiki. Okay, don't do that.
Yeah, and get in and get into the, you know what I mean. So, but
Don't
anyway,
make me.
Fleurette, it's always amazing to connect with you. We will connect again. So I don't know what Cadence will do, but we definitely have some topic options that the folks dropped in the comments and stuff that we wanted to talk about. So we will 100% do this again now that we have the
For real.
StreamYard figured out. I like this platform. What you want to next time? Maybe we'll try to stream on YouTube and Instagram at the same time.
Oh, does it? Can you do that on here?
Yeah, you can. It has to be a
Oh,
different level, a different tier, but you can do it. But I don't know how it's gonna be with like the horizontal versus the vertical. But I still I wanna see how it goes.
yeah, that's true. Okay, it should be
Yeah.
interesting.
Yes. Anyway, girly, always good. And thank you guys so much for watching with us. I see you guys viewing and I see you guys in the chat. So appreciate you so much. And be sure to catch us. Fleurette has another video dropping at 8 p.m. tonight. Is it Dating in France, Fleurette?
Yeah, it's dropped already. It was at 6 p.m. our time. It was, yeah,
Okay.
dating in France part two. So me and my cousin are just going back and forth about certain things, just getting his young mind and his perspective as a young 23-year-old in today's day and age. And it's just funny and it's interesting to watch. So if you wanna watch that, you can go ahead to my channel and watch that, which is love_Fleurette.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then I had my video drop, our kickback drop on Friday night. If you didn't catch us live, but we're definitely here for our replay gang. So if you want to catch the replay, please do. I just finished the timestamps tonight, so you can jump into the description under the video to see all the gems that were dropped, and you can just jump to the section that you think resonates with you. But you guys picked the salacious topic this week, and we went ahead and went live on it and just dropped a little information that about how these girls is capping on their sugar daddy. But if you're interested in that, watch that. If not, definitely watch the one about intuition. Major gems dropped. And then we have a whole playlist for It's Kells Friday Night Kickback. So go through that, see what you see, listen like a podcast or however you want to do it while you're cleaning up, cooking dinner, and things like that. That's how the people them tell me they do it. So very much appreciate you guys' support over on It's Kells, just through my ring, and also on love_Fleurette. And we will catch you guys again soon. Bye,
Happy
guys.
birthday!
Thank you, love. Woo! Yes, birthday. Tings, Pisces. Cheers, honey. Clink, 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 clink.
Peace out.